Hi everyone, my name's Trudy and this is my tarot reading, and this one is for all you lovely creative people out there. So I wanted to do a video that's going to help with anyone maybe struggling with a creative block, whether it's your job or not. I know for myself, so I'm a performer, but I'm also sort of a writer, I'm a musician, and I certainly know what it feels like to experience a big creative block and you kind of feel a bit stuck in a rut. So I wanted to basically do a video to help you guys with that, because that's what I use the tarot for most of the time, to be honest. So please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So what I tend to do first is I'm going to pick a major arcana card from here, and this is kind of the energy that maybe you need to harness this week. So we're sort of doing this for the week commencing 10th of February, but it's sort of all the time around that. It's whenever you see it, really. It's just you were meant to see it, weren't you? So grab yourself a tea if you want a bit of a tea as well. Oh dear, look, I've mixed that up. Right, let's go with this one. Temperance. Interesting. See, I've just done a general reading, and it seemed to have a similar vibe to it, which was that I think we need to find this sort of balance and stillness. I think the world there's so much going on at the minute, and we just need to find that stillness. And especially, like, I don't know, especially if you're in a city, really, the city never stops. Like, we're in February now, it's the winter, and the winter wants us to stop. It wants us to process. It wants us to be still. But what happens a lot is that we have New Year and everybody goes, let's go, 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 I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then everything's still dark, everything's still cold, and it's hard to start because you're just in this place of like, I'm tired and what is going on? And I just think that we need to find that balance more and more, and find almost that winter in ourselves, essentially, that's like, how can I keep calmness in my life? Because anything that is the biggest destroyer of creativity is this overthinking and this like, oh well, I've got to do that, I don't have time, when actually you do always have the time. You can always make the time. Time is just a concept of something, and unless it's, oh, I've got to do this at work or for this deadline, a lot of the time said time a lot now, is not on a deadline, you know. But also it never helps if you've got a deadline. I mean, it helps for some people, but it's not always the most helpful thing. What is the most helpful thing is believing that you do have the time and you can just take this moment to be present. I always love Temperance because she's sort of got these two jugs and she's pouring the water and it's completely balanced. So it's maybe just finding that balance. So to maybe help with your creativity is maybe this element of, how can I find some balance this week? You know, it could be saying no to something. It could be deciding, I don't want to actually do that, my weekend is full, maybe I don't want to go out, maybe I just want to chill out, and being okay with that. Because I think a lot of the time there's a lot of people who we're uncomfortable with doing nothing, we're uncomfortable with having that stillness. But remember, when you're still, that's when you have the space for anything else to come in. Okay, so I'm next going to, if you're new to my channel, I sort of read by pulling a major arcana card, and then I'm pulling a court card to sort of give us an idea of maybe who's in your environment that might teach you this week, to maybe help you either release something, or in this case probably help you with your creativity, or help you release your creative blocks. If you can hear a strange howling noise, by the way, it's very windy today and it's going through my windows, which I was very confused about when I woke up this morning because I've only really just moved into this new house. Okay, so who is around that's going to teach you, to help you with your creativity? Okay, Queen of Swords. Oh, I love the Queen of Swords. Tell you why I love the Queen of Swords. Because she's sort of boss lady. She's not really, well, this is the way I see her anyway. She's not really a victim of anything. We could sometimes say that she's a little bit cold-hearted, but I don't think in this instance with creativity that it's that you're cold-hearted. I think it's that you want to be direct about something and you want to go at something, and you want maybe you could have you've got an idea of something, but it's just not flowing, and it's like, but that's great that you've got this idea. Or if you don't have the idea, it's just this sense of maybe just, but imagine if she had her sword and she was just pointing it in this direction. Like maybe it's just thinking, what is the direction that I want to go just this week? Don't think about the whole big plan. Say if you've got a script to write or a big painting that you've got an idea of, you can't do that all in one day, and you can't do that all in 1 week. So it's about what's the first direction that could be taking the next steps. If you're already halfway through something, it could be just taking that step back and really thinking to yourself, side with this balance sort of vibe, is like, okay, what can I do next? That's this one thing. So if you're a writer, it could be this one chapter, this one scene, and really, really focusing on it in a way that is, I'm going to make this bit really, really good. Rather than, sometimes it's right to just get everything out and scatter and write everything or paint everything and just get it all out your system. But this element of balance, it sort of brings this stillness to me that makes me think, like, how can I make this thing I've got better? And that will help everything else. Because sometimes when we can't create, we need to hone the skill and focus and make that one thing better, which is going to help everything else. So, I mean, if you're an instrumentalist or a singer, it could be just practicing things that make you feel good. Even if you're a composer, like just playing your instruments or taking something you've written that maybe you haven't finished and focusing on that, because that's going to get your body and mind back in that sort of state. And remember, like I was saying before, it is winter. The flowers and the snowdrops and crocuses have only just started to come out. We're just getting now that sense of like, okay, whatever we, planted in our own minds winter, that's starting to bloom. We're seeing that starting to happen. Okay. I've really realised that I've just talked about that as you, but it could be. I would also say getting someone in. I don't know, I just feel like it's you. Usually it feels like it's someone else in your environment. So I've completely contradicted myself, but I hope that was helpful. But it could also be getting people's opinions, I think. Getting people's opinions in of like, okay, what direction do I need to go in? So maybe find a trusted person. That could be the focus part of it as well. Find a trusted person that you know is really good at their craft and ask them, how can I make this better? Rather than starting from scratch. Yeah? Okay. I hope that helps. Right, let's just go into a little bit more detail with this one, okay? Okay, what else do my lovely creative people need to know? Whoa, okay. Chariot. Lovely. And let's pull out a couple more. Chariot and the Fool. I'm getting some big cards. I feel like this is a big time. Maybe it's because, like I was saying, the flowers are coming out and all that's happening. It's like, it just feels like a big time. I feel like there's some sort of like big shift going on. Seven of Swords. Okay, so with this Chariot, again with this sort of directness, it's like you want to have that balance, but it's also finding the thing that drives you, like what makes you feel really good, what makes you in your creative endeavors, like what is the thing that gets you going. You know, some people, it's like, I don't know, it could even be something that gets them out, like exercise or running or something moving. Like, don't forget the Chariot's one of the most like movie cards. It's moving and it's really moving forward. So if you can get on it and join where you're being pulled to, even if you're sort of resisting it, again, like I'm saying, it's going with that direct movement. It's finding that one thing and going like, I'm going to push that this week. Just this week, I'm going to push that one thing. Like I was saying, it could be something that you've started writing. I'm just going to go in that one direction. But it's also with this Fool here, having the joy and the innocence almost to not worry about where it's going, because we don't know where this is going. We don't know, if you went and picked one thing and you were quite direct about it, we don't know where it's going to lead, but you've taken one step forward and you've moved forward. Because what happens sometimes if we're stood in front of a blank slate is we're just like, what do? I have no idea what to do with myself. I'm completely lost. And you're not lost. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, you could totally correct me if you're wrong, but I'm pretty sure if this is all you creative people watching this, you will have a project somewhere that you haven't finished or that you started and then you went, nah, I'm going to do something else, whether it's a painting or a song or anything. I just think, look at going back into those things with your new eyes, like new perspective. You could even have something that you wrote years ago, and then you might look back at it and go, oh, I quite like that. Like, I've had scenes I've written or songs I've written, and then I've gone back and I've gone, oh, actually, that wasn't as bad. I really sort of judged myself at that time, and this was not as bad. And then I've gone like, oh, I could totally make this better now. So it's moving in that direction. It's almost like you're doing the pruning of the tree rather than trying to plant the seeds, because the seeds are already planted, they're in the ground and they're growing themselves. Don't forget, like I said, snowdrops coming up at the minute, things are starting to show, but you got to tend to those other trees that you got. You can't just plant loads of seeds all the time and then expect them to go poof and amazing. Whilst those seeds are in the ground sorting themselves out, don't get annoyed that you haven't seen them come up yet. Go do something else. Go and prune a tree, your tree, metaphorically speaking, of course. This Seven of Swords, I think, is you are your own. What's the word? Saboteur. You are yourself. I feel like just so much in creativity and creative industries, we're our own biggest critic, and that's great sometimes, but sometimes it can really stop you and it can really hinder you and it can really stop you doing what you really wanted to do, or it can make you give up on something that was really good. So I just think, if you can, I mean, and use this person, like I was saying, if this is a person, use this trusted person to be like, hey, do you think what I've done is good? Do you think, how do you think I could improve this? I'm looking at this old stuff I've done, like, it could be just your mate. Like, you could have mates that are in a similar field and you're like, hey, do you want to like mess about with this? If it was a song, do you want to mess about with this? Hey, with this script, do you want to mess about with this poem? Like, oh, what if we did this? You know, I think it's about that, and I think it is a solo journey. It is your creation, but also bringing in this trusted, really, really trusted person that might help is going to help you at the end of it, because this person will be able to go, look, you are being too hard on yourself. You are putting too much pressure on yourself. Calm down. And that's what I'm saying in finding the joy, like the Fool. This is why I love this deck of cards, because she's just falling. Look, she's a beautiful woman and she doesn't know where she's going. She's not even looking, but she's just going with it. She knows that she's got to fall But when I say fall, I don't mean that in a bad way. But she knows she's got to leap, if as you might say with it. You just got to take that leap of faith. And that is just in this honing your skill, but trusting yourself, trusting that you're going to fall. And well, when I say fall, I hope that doesn't come across in the wrong way. Not fall like you're going to go down, but just trusting that whatever happens, you're going to be caught by something, someone, call it the universe, call it whatever. You're gonna land on your feet. You're always gonna land on your feet, but not if you're your biggest critic, because that will stop you. That will always stop you. So yeah, general message for you creative people: balance, focus on one thing, and see how that goes. I don't feel like this is a shoot stuff at the wall and see what sticks. I feel like this is a go round, feel it, look at your stuff. Oh, maybe why don't I work on that? It doesn't have to amount to anything, but just looking at those things that you've created, and also taking a step back and going, wow, I'm really proud of myself. That was great. Right, I think that's everything from me. Keep being creative, keep loving life. I know it's winter, but it's, well, in the Northern Hemisphere, if anybody's watching this from further away. But snowdrops are coming up. It's all going to be beautiful soon, and the days are getting lighter. Okay, lots of love, and please like and subscribe if you like my videos, and I'm sure I'll see you again soon. Bye!